trying to see if I can see your comments. If I do a comment myself, it might show. Oh, it shows. Great. Okay. Cool. So yesterday, I could see that there were people watching, but I couldn't see any comments at all. So I was just wondering if that was broken, but I've commented myself now and I can see that that is working. But if you are here watching and you it seems like I'm not seeing any comments, just send me a little reaction, send me a little thumbs up or a heart so that I know you're here with me. So today is a great day. It is April Fool's. Oh no, I was going to go and get Cicely's bunny mask and be on camera with my bunny mask. Okay, well, we'll pretend that tomorrow is April Fool's Day and I'll do that and pretend that you haven't seen that coming and you didn't know anything about it, okay? So today is 1st of April. It is the launch day of the Bag of the Month Club new pattern, which is from Tara from Old Creations, which is really, really, really good. If you haven't seen it yet, go over to the Bag of the Month Club group. If you're a member, you can log into your account and download it straight away. It's there ready for you. If you're not a member and you want to join up, you'll get all 4 videos as soon as you join. But this month's pattern is I won't tell you, actually, I'll leave it as a surprise. But go on over to the Bag of the Month Club group and you'll see what it is. Hi, Beth. So I can see your comments, so it's working today. Brilliant. I couldn't see anybody's comments yesterday at all. So today will be quite a short one because we're only doing the outer, and then tomorrow we are going to do the zip pocket, and then Friday, clear the afternoon, we're finishing the bag. It shouldn't take too long, but we'll do the slip pockets and we'll finish the lining off, and then we'll sew it all together, and then I will do my trim early next week and show you my finished bag, because I've said that I'm going to use a nice trim on it, but who knows if I will. So nice to see you. Let's get started. Let's swap the camera around and I will clip you into my little holder. And I forgot to wind a bobbin, so I can do that as well. Okay. There we go. Oh, I might have to move a bit. Hold on to your hats. There we go. Okay. As I said on Monday, if you were here, all of my really good professional equipment is in the storage unit. So we're kind of winging it a little bit with my little camera stand. So I apologise for the unprofessional nature of that. Right, so I need to wind a bobbin. I found this colour in my thread rack, which matches perfectly, and I think that will just help hide my wonky stitches quite nicely. So I'll wind a bobbin while you're here. I love seeing your photos of your fabrics that you've chosen and as you're cutting out, and keep those photos coming. I really love those. Love seeing them. If you haven't already shown us, do feel free to show us what you've got going on with your bag. I've seen some really nice combinations, and Jenny shared some pictures with us. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, asking for advice on which one to choose. Obviously I chose the silvery grey colour because grey is my favourite colour. So let's wind a bobbin. There we go. Okay. So, oh, how am I managing to wind a bobbin when I've got my bobbin here? That's funny. Look, I've got my bobbin winding. How did I manage that? No idea. Meredith, oh, you can't sew along. The cat's sitting on your foam. Oh, it's a hard life, isn't it? Any excuse not to cut out. Right, there's my bobbin wound. I'll just move you over so you can see that I am actually doing something. I'm not just sitting here. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, I hope everybody's having a good day. I feel like we're sort of getting into some sort of routine or normality now. after over a week. And it's funny how quickly things become normal, isn't it? Even though it's completely abnormal what's going on in the world at the moment and what's happening. We are good at adapting. I always wish I was one of those people that is an early adopter of technology. But I had a look at some TikTok dancing videos, and there is no way I am going to be an early adopter with that. So better stick with sewing. Okay. Right, pop my bobbin in. So I'm using the Janome HD9, and it's got this extension table that I've got on, and it's got this wonderful little doody, so that you can put your bobbin in without having to take the extension table off, which is good. Snip that little end off. And if you are a user of the Janome HD9, now is the time to remind me to oil my machine. This one needs oiling every time you sit down to sew, so I'm just going to do that super quick before I forget. Otherwise Lynn will be reminding me. She'll be saying, you didn't oil your machine. She'll say it in a kinder voice than that though, because she's very kind. Just oil it. There we go. Okay. One of these days I'm going to clear out this little area here, but today is not that day, so good. Okay, there we go. Do my right. There we go. Ready to sew. And tomorrow, when you arrive, I'll already be ready to sew because I've set up to do. So, hi AJ. Right, so today we're going to do the outer. So you'll need your main panels, of which there are 2, with your foam stabiliser and your ultra firm Peltex Decaville S520. And you'll also need your base, which has also been prepared. You'll need to have transferred the markings from the pattern piece onto your base and marked your centres on the main panels, both at the top and the bottom. Okay, so to sew the outer, I'm just going to match the side edges of my main panels. You see okay? Yeah, I wonder if I can move you a little bit higher so that you can see a bit more of my sewing table. Does that look okay? All good with that? There we go. Okay, so let's trim that thread. I never end up trimming these threads, and then they poke through a seam, and I think, oh, why didn't I do that when I could have done? So we'll line up the edges, and if you are not particularly accurate at cutting out, just line it up as best you can and pretend that that was how the pattern said to do it. That's what I always do, even if it's my own pattern. Okay, and we'll do the other side. Just going to stand up and double check you can see what I'm doing. Yes, you can. Okay, good. Hi, Mum. Hi, Sharon. Drive to Jane Cooper, that's my mother. Tuning in. Usually when we phone her, she has to get the cats on so that Elvis can have a little laugh at what the cats are doing and see them. She can never remember the cats' names. Elvis's is, not my mum. Obviously my mum can remember her cat's names, but never remember the cat's names, but she loves to see them. So that's the only pet we're getting. So we're going to sew from the top to the bottom of the seam using the regular 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Can you see that okay? Remember to back stitch at the start and the end. Did I say morning, Mum? Funny. Got awful feeling I said good morning, Mum. Oh well. Good afternoon, Mum. So we're sewing down the side edge and then we'll sew the other one. Now in theory you should also sew from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to turn it over and do it properly, seeing as I'm kind of demonstrating, I guess. There we go. Okay, happy with that? Great. Okay, sorry, Mum. Good afternoon, Mum, not good morning. Now, usually what I would do is go over to the ironing board and press these seams open, and I would just press one side open and then flip it over and press the other side open. But I still haven't got my ironing board out, so for now I'm just going to pop a little clip on there to hold it open for the minute. And I'm also going to do the same on the top. And I'm going to leave these top seam allowances clipped open until Friday when we finish our construction. That will just help them to just train them a little bit to stay open. Just trim that off. And then it means when you come to your final construction, it'll give you a nice neat finish. If you want to unpick the basting stitches here in this top corner and just nip a bit of this stabilizer off on either side, if you haven't got a particularly strong machine. So just unpick some of the basting stitches, nip off a little bit of the foam stabilizer just from there, and then all of this out of this seam allowance here, maybe, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch on both sides of that. That will really help your machine to fit through the bulk on the final top stitch. I've got a really strong machine though, so I don't need to do that. But if you haven't got a semi-industrial and you know your machine struggles with bulk, just nip those off because it gives you a much nicer finish at the end. Okay, and press this one open, or clip this one open. There we go. If you've got a tailor's ham or something, or a sleeve ironing board, you can always pop that over the sleeve board and press open just this end of the seam allowance. I mean, you'll get a much better finish if you press open all of the seam allowance for the whole thing. But the top and the bottom sort of couple of inches really is what's going to give you a good finish. So now we need our base. Here's my base, and it's absolutely gorgeous, perfectly matched purple. And this is a aubergine purple Essex linen, and then this is the metallic faux leather from So Hot. And the trick to this is you have already marked your centres. Check you can see that okay. Yep. Okay. And you're going to match this mark in the middle of your base to this centre mark on the bottom of your main panels. And we're clipping them right sides together. Now, if you've got a stapler and you want to staple inside the seam allowance for this, that is a great idea. Just hold everything in place while you're sewing around it. So I've just clipped the straight edge there. I'll fold it over, or turn it over, match the centre of the other side to the centre bottom of that main panel, and do the straight side again. Now, how this fits depends on the accuracy of my seam. So let's assume it's going to be perfect, because then we can only be disappointed, right? So I've just matched up the mark on the end of the base with the seam on the main panels, the side seam, and I'm clipping that with them open, and turn it over, and again the mark on the end of the base to the seam on the side of the main panels, and clip those together. There we go, look, that does match pretty good. Now this is a lovely gentle curve, and in theory it will match perfectly first time, which makes it a really nice bag for beginners, just to dip their toe into the world of oval bases, because some of them are a bit of a pain to match up and sew. And that can be a bit off-putting, I think, unless you're an experienced bag maker. And even if you are an experienced bag maker, quite often you don't give yourself credit for being an experienced bag maker. And maybe don't realise quite how skilled you are. So it's nice just to every now and then do a pattern that you can just make without having to fight it. We're just pressing these into place, or just clipping into place. And if you can feel that there's a little pucker, you can almost feel it through the foam sometimes, can't you? Pop your hand inside the bag and just smooth it out to make sure that there's no puckers in there. Oh, sorry, not the stand. And just use your finger to smooth the main panels out if you can feel that there's a little pucker in there. There shouldn't be any little puckers though. So if you've stapled, or if you're going to staple within the seam allowance, and then you'll trim those staples off afterwards. So that's it, fully pinned or fully clipped together. Let's see what it says in the pattern. You may find it easier to sew with the base facing up, like that. But you will get a neater finish if you can sew with the base facing down, like that. So we'll try and sew it with the base facing down, and just do whatever you have to do to be able to sew it. Okay, so squish it out of the way completely if you have to, whatever you've got to do. And I'm going to start on one of the straight edges. Double check you can see. Oh, you're a bit high, let me move you down. Move you down so you can see a bit better. Good morning, Maggie in Florida. We'll just pretend I was saying good morning to Maggie, or just being internationally inclusive. Okay, so I'm going to start with my needle down so that as I go around this curve, it will always stop with needle down. Okay, and again, back stitch at the start and end, and it would help if I took it off basting stitch, wouldn't it? Which means that I've sewn my sides on basting stitch. Well done me. Might go back and unpick that and redo that. So just go really as slowly as you need to around. And as you need to adjust, just move the bulk of the bag out of the way. Whatever you need to do to get around this curve. Okay, manipulate that fabric however you need to. And it's not a race. You can take as long as you want to sew this, and you can just go as slowly as you like and adjust it as many times as you like. It's a bit easier. And as you can see, if your base doesn't quite line up with your main panels as you're going around, that's okay. It's fine. Not a problem. You can leave your foot down. Leave your needle down, lift your foot up, and just manipulate this main panel to be nearer to the edge, and start sewing again. As long as you sew in a nice smooth curve, a couple of mil difference is not going to make much of an impact on your finished bag. Okay, so just move it out of the way as you need to. Don't be scared of your bag. Don't worry about damaging it or ripping it or anything, because you're not going to do that. These stabilisers are pretty sturdy. You've interfaced your fabric. You're only sort of folding it out of the way, really. You're not pulling it, okay? And just use your fingers to keep these bits down as much as you need to. And I can feel there's a little pucker there. Oh dear. Oh, my nail polish has come off. We'll pretend that hasn't. Stick it back on with a bit of fabric tack. But I can feel there's a little pucker there. So I'm just taking that clip off, put my fingers inside and just smooth that out as best I can from inside the bag. Okay. And as I get to this last bit, just take the clip off. Make sure your foot's well away from the from the foot pedal, sorry. And just smooth this all out. And if you need to go inside the line of the base to smooth it out, you can. Mine isn't too bad. I'm just going to keep going. Now, no one is going to be opening your bag and inspecting your seam allowances. Okay. So do whatever you need to do to get a nice, smooth curve around the base. There. Okay, let me lift you up a bit higher again. Needle. I've got a size 100 in for this. I always use a size 100 if I'm using stabiliser. If there's stabiliser under needle, I use a size 100. Otherwise, I use a size 80. A 100 is a 16 and an 80 is a size 12. So if I'm sewing linings, I tend to use a size 80 or 12. If I've got stabiliser in under my needle, then it's a size 100. And thread, I use Gutermann polyester all-purpose sew-all. And I buy it when it's on special offer because it's strong. I did used to use 100% cotton thread, and then I realised that once you add any sort of weight to a bag, your strap can easily lose some stitches, and that's just not the best idea, really. Right, so let me put my hand in and run it around, double check there's no unsightly puckers inside. No, that's fine. If there were any puckers, then I would want to unpick that little bit of stitching and go back and do it. Double check. No, we're all okay. All fine and good. There's the inside of my bag. There's the base. Ta-da. Now, usually what I would do now is go around and trim these seam allowances with my pinking shears or clip them. But because I've realised that I sewed the side seams on a basting stitch, I'm going to unpick this when I'm not on air and re-sew that. Just to make sure that my bag doesn't fall apart when I'm using it. What a rookie error, eh? So top tip from today, if you change to a basting stitch, remember to change it back. But there's my base. It's nicely in. This one is a really lovely curve, and this was a retreat bag. So the word on the street from retreaters is that it's really lovely and easy to fit in. A couple of retreaters said it's the first time they've managed to sew an oval base or a round base without cursing and without actually fitting. So not trying to blow my own trumpet, but if that is what has put you off, give it a try, and hopefully you'll find the same, that it just fits in really nicely. So tomorrow we're going to do, what are we going to do? We're going to do zip pocket. Once I come off air now, I'm going to unpick this, re-sew my side seams, and then re-put this in, and I'll turn it right sides out and show you. So first thing tomorrow, what we'll do, I'll show you my pinking sheared base, and then we'll attach the straps onto the top of the outer, and then we'll get on with our zip pocket tomorrow. And we might do a little bit of slip pocket maybe, depending on how time is going. So thank you for joining me. And if you haven't already been over to the Bag of the Month Club site to have a look at this month's pattern, go and have a look. I love it. Can't wait to make one. I say that like I've got all the time in the world, but I'm only working half days at the moment, so chances are it might be a while. Oh, maybe I could get Tara to send me a sample. Ooh, maybe I could buy one off of her. That would be a really good idea, wouldn't it? Tara, I'm coming for you. So that's my bucket tote at the moment. Can't wait to see your bases. Once you've done your base, show me. Pop a picture in the group. If you're struggling to choose your line of fabrics like Jenny was, pop a picture in the group or a few pictures in the group. We'll be able to help you. Love choosing fabrics. Terrible at choosing fabrics myself, but I love helping other people. And show us your straps once they're done, and then we'll get on to the lining tomorrow. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye.